Alright, hello everybody. I'm going to do my best to be really critique on what I say to make it so that I say that. Even though that we got hit with the GY right away, I mean, what are the flaws on this? Alright, so we're gonna look at this, and I always, metaphorically speaking, always using something fun like this. So we're gonna look at these and we're gonna see these through. We always talk about the chaos agent and how we're running up metaphorically, and on some of the other things that were said on that. I felt creeping ooze it was gonna be a heavy player for reducing the speed on that for some things. So if you were to pick like how we're going to, if we, I mean, bear with me to say that I can be the server of the table if it is my place, that how would you see these? I say that in the full storyline, hey, we hated that. We kind of saw this ill perception of where somebody wants to take the identity of what was in these to create what was going to be a barrel, and then it's going to have a tiller of how something compelled to our emotions was begun to us because, well, it could be achieved, and then it's like a very misconstrued variable of unfortunate events. Like, where is the law in this? Is law death, or is death death, and life is that revolving all joy technique, and that's what we're calling that. And I'm doing so good with saying this the correct way. The dragon is that competitive predominance on the challenging of what the field is, and getting the more of that play, and then it kind of got a powerful one, but it is one of the more expensive sets. I liked Earth and its grass because of how patient some of the growth was, and then our D&D, how we were able to close the Lion's Gate, or the, what did we call this, the Ruby server, barely, which is going to be adjusted by blue water hypnotism, which will adjust the heat association transfer to water from our eyes. That's the goal. So after that's done steaming and relaxing, I actually had a really good coincidence that a sea salt chip landed in one of my other eyes, and I was like, ah, a vinegar chip, this is actually great. So that's what I felt about it. So life just being good, and then all these concepts really hinge on the atrocity of how the fire is not going as well with that, and that the duality of the water to do that, and that the earth is interested in its own place and kind of finds that between life and just the death part of this one, more like a poison, is kind of very inevitable. When talking about this into a more kid modernistic version, it's like -1 or poisons that I find that. I may have been alarmed. I don't really see the possible justification of, it's just the PAC's decision, it seems. So life is this goodness of that, and I really do not like that monotheism of that this thing, like if I go to a thrift shop, I leave it for my fantasy character, as in Hope. I will let them have all the angel stuff and they can have that. And then when I go through my Half-Lives or spiritual journey, or if that's what that'll be called, then the character of the aperture of being one of these elements goes from there. Then there's a lot of like stronger elements that can apply to our life, and it shows by being able to destroy a strong creature. It shows that we're able to challenge that. And I've already noticed that we're better at speaking, so the Google array could be directly, well, once I'm done talking about this, well, I mean, alright, cut. Yeah, that's pretty much that. I wouldn't want to talk about that. So all these ones, if at a point you felt that this was for my server, I have the perfect design and everybody can have their favorites. I really do think that these cards are gonna do good because that this is just the initial of this stuff, and I think that, let's see, I want to see what is most in price and then what is least. I mean, this one wasn't like the greatest for the price scaling of that, especially since water explaining this had more of the Lapras, so it restores a portion of the monster's health each round. That's already super good. Well, the rate of what it does on the turn to the survival, but I mean, if there was just a restoration tank heal, then that already makes that one really susceptible. Well, it's kind of different in that one. So if you were to choose, Bun, which one that you would want, you want you want to go through the tutorial and then say that you would pick a different one. So even though I had captured a Pokemon, I mean, it's still there. So Pyro got the fire one. So for having rabies, so they can have all these ones. Water, what is this about? I like the Earth style. It goes against a lot of my refuting beliefs on structuring on the platform of what was numerative, numerations, denominations, and how that is a finish. Letting our mind share the transfers of what we think of something already makes it more agreeable. But this may be new because I find a lot of challenging in the confidence of dragons. Dragons as in other people with different kinds of proof and the strengths of that. I mean, somebody running these ones is saying quite a lot about what it is thought of. I was thinking that the Arctics artist would be all over this. Not Arctics, or what is it called? Is it Arctics? I think it actually is. For Adventure Quest. That's hardcore because those still arts are like what I rely on the card trader technique. somebody in the right uh, like location of that sucks, so somebody else could get that. Except this one. That's kind of. What's another good one that is quite there? So somebody just committing to collecting the collection. Therefore, when these worlds meet, then that challenge of what was agreed on quantum is fair. I sense a lot of Kadena right here. Wow. Someone running life and joy and that bliss of that center of not needing to participate in anything but the centrifuge of their own life. That's the thing. The identity of a card in itself too, to create that design. I'm gonna have some good designs ready. I'm interested in this game. We could give a tutorial. I feel like still that I'm into that. Alright, we'll read these. Walk of Spirit Blade, Cryptmancer. This is a summoner. Yeah, for each summoner it adds the effect to all of the other creatures on the battlefield in a ordered first, second, and so forth on the chain of the presence, and the speeds wind down, and once in turn to the armor that it stops before it does anything to the health. I'm going to go. I wanted to go with the Earth style because they have the Swamp Thing, and I got a tree on my arm. I'm passionate about the Counter-Strike for life and how the patience of a lot of these elements is what was necessary for to create the dirt to step on. I'm locking in for Failure Family. Earth style. A swamp, and my most collaborative will probably be death. Well, not death to the point of that as my target, but this, if somebody was gonna agree to lock in theirs, what would you go with? I think, the team's dragons is hashtag going to go to probably my father, tattoo artist, or strong celebrities, or determinate business. Death is like a hold, like a junior YouTubers probably, and the stalemate of being still and applying the months, and we're gonna, and I have no idea what that one is. So in the style of what we pass, that will be, and I was like, I really got this one because I really was thinking that would be a good one. Things like Grunt for getting the double attack, and then I was going to get the Thorn champion, which was only 3, to get the same effect as Wendiwu, and Viridian, the Thorn male type. that was gonna make strong runs for all those because it's 2 damage, no problem. And to create the card to get to the next level, it takes having that of the same card and then going to the card to combine both cards together to make the super card. Maybe there are some good ones with like sense to the stack to get that super up. No comment. Rexy for a hash rate, and we're passing that down, and that was a really cool one. And plus my slip spawn deck was that it targets this one, or the Puffy the Magic Dragon is kind of just a basic deck of having Obsidian to get this one to be at front to get it so everybody would attack those ones, or all the magic abilities would attack this one, and then having the Goblin restore it. But I was like, wow, the water deck is already better because it heals the one in center with the Lapras. I've done pretty well with the web spider, and then having a creeping ooze in the background, which slows all the opponents down. It's not the funnest, but I say if we had like, what is it? Even the Myler Crowling deck versus that, and we'll see. Scuttling towards what I feel of that, and then you'll be like in the story like, no, my friend, why did I have all the cards? They're dead. So when making a deck, I write down the cost to do that, and then on my note cards, those are the possible plays for that one. Makes it a bit easier. That something like this could have the 3 restore. So there is monsters that can perform from the first position. So 2 at 4 is 6. I got this one. I think that'll be good. Usually it's just this one, and the wood nymph to get it to 13, and to switch, which is not that well. I'm going to expand, but primarily I'm gonna have to know how to master this one. Seedsmith is a great mid-tilt character, so the 4th position, and then adjust on the health to get that. The 3rd position is usually what I have that at. I usually run this one in the front. 6 for 7 for 2, and then seeing that that's what it would do. Thorn Mail Summoner is going to make this deck way more possible than before. That's so bad that the one that this one is to just get this, and that if you were running this one, that. So there is one that's decent, and these numbers are like numbers that, like for me, are just about what I would do, that I could see myself thinking these. Like, I mean, Epona, and it's over time, I could see myself accepting these numbers. If you say 4 times, probably are not the type of person to get the most expensive complete list. Alright, I'm gonna give my time to look at this, and then this will give it so next time you look at those other ones, that in that argument, that it was only seen that way. Alright, thank you for watching. I will have a camera once I'm done with some stuff and how I think of stuff. I'm just like my build, and I want to do something for the more, and that like that I did that means something to me. That makes sense. I think that the Leaf Village is gonna do great. I just have been taking such a painful year at the split of all these elements construing something, and then how that exists to begin again, and how I would not place myself to exist as that, as how I respond is the ego of who I am, and how I shape, and how we are gonna be determining that. Alright, the end for this part. Thank you for watching. Please come back with the build to the shared gala quantum of a. Alright. No pups.